Hey guys, welcome back to another Speedart. It's been a very long time since our last Speedart. I know you guys enjoyed watching these, so decided to bring them back. Been kind of taking a little break from development and all that stuff, so it's always good to have a little break. I know it's kind of an easy thing to get burnt out on, and a lot of devs do that, so just wanted to take a little break and just kind of sit back and relax. But decided to get back into it and kind of slowly start making some stuff again. So found this while I was initially deciding on what I wanted to make after ZZ/Ovo/ Joshua Tanner, whatever, released his new 14 Explorer base. So I wanted to use that, and I was looking around on some designs wanted to make with it, and I found this one. This is Redmond Oregon. Very interesting, very nice, very simple, very clean. Really like it. I don't know, it's really nice. The only thing I don't really like about it is that line on the bottom. So they have that line on the top, and then they have the line on the bottom, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I also made a livery without that just to see how that would look. And it looks good without it. And I also tried later on, you'll see, with some different colors as well, changing it to like a black base and stuff like that. So let's talk about what's on the screen. So I'm just getting everything in here now. Got the text, got the lines, pretty much everything's already done. So for the line, initially I was going to do a gradient, and I figured actually a inner shadow would be better, because it's not something easy you can do with a gradient to get that effect that I needed with that line. So now we're just going through and filling in all of the lines, I guess, that the drop shadow doesn't do. I wish it did. I wish there was an option where you could have the drop shadow actually fill in all the lines like this to make it more of like straight and square and stuff, but unfortunately that's not an option, so I have to go through and manually do it. And every time I do this, I don't know, I always get confused I don't remember how to do it every time, and then once I start getting going with it, it's like, oh yeah, this is how we do it. So sometimes a little different, but I like the look of it, so it just takes a little extra time, but I think it's worth it in the end. And they do this, most departments do this. If they have a drop shadow, they'll go and fill in the lines or whatever they use to make it automatically fills it in. But so sometimes they don't, but most of the time usually you'll see that, and I do like that effect. I was having a lot of trouble with the E here. I think I eventually got it settled, but yeah, it's a nice blue. It's kind of beachy, even though I'm not too familiar with the city of Redmond, but I don't think it's really that beachy. But it does fit with that style, so I figured it'd look good in a Los Santos livery, and it does. So right now going through filling out the door handles and everything, so kind of have a break in the design there. Instead of just leaving it and letting it cut through and being a little weird, it's always nice to kind of leave a little gap, which you'll see I do right here. Just kind of leave a little gap in between where it actually starts. You can also do this with the gas tank if you have a design going over there. Just do a little circle with a stroke on the outside, and then put that over the gas tank, and it looks like you've cut out the texture, so you can still open the gas tank, because that makes sense. So little details like that just kind of makes the whole thing come together. So getting the unit number on now. I like whenever the departments do this, it's kind of, they have, at least I assume that's what this means. Whenever they put in like 2 digits in front and then the unit number in the back. So the 2 digits in front usually symbolizing the year of the vehicle. So I'm guessing with this one 14 to 2014. So if you do this on a 2016 car, it'd be 16 dash blah blah blah. Kind of like that. So moving on to the back, same design here with the dial 911. Same design as the police font, with the gradient and everything. It's a nice gradient, and I like the stroke, how it's kind of a different blue color. I really like it. So I initially was going to do Euro still for the font, but I decided to change it to Arial because I like the 9 better in Arial, and the 1s. It just looks better with numbers in my opinion. So I decided to change that. I'm not sure what they use on the actual vehicle, if they change it or not, but I like the look of that a little bit better. So this livery probably took about an hour and a half or so. It's very simple, so it's not really anything too crazy. But it did take a good amount of time. It seems like the more simple things I always take longer on because I'm trying to make it look perfect, which isn't the best, but... So right now we're working on the organs certification, law enforcement certification agency, whatever it is called. I'm working on that right now. So it's kind of like CALIA for the nations, but this is just Oregon, I guess, for their state. So they're a state certified agency, so I decided to put it in, even though it doesn't really make sense because San Andreas would really only have like 3 departments anyways, so hopefully they would be certified. But it's a nice little logo. I didn't really want to, it was going to be very small, and if I took the time to go through and put in the gradient, it wouldn't have really mattered anyways, so I decided not to do that and just paint it in the whole outside and just put the text over it. So again, to get these nice curved text, what I use is I'd make a circle and then change it to a path, and then you can just, as you can see right now, you can just pretty much crop the circle however you want, and then your text is going to go with that. So it's perfect for doing things like this. It's so much better than using the default warp curved text tool, whatever it's called, because it usually distorts it anyways, and this is just so much easier. So we have that on. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it looks nice anyways, and just decided to add it. I didn't know what else I would add there. It kind of looked a little empty without having anything there, so now comes the time. We have the driver's side done. Gonna switch it over to the passenger. Just gonna duplicate it and flip it, and then flip everything over. And then if anytime you're working with gradients and you need to flip them to a different side, make sure you always go back and make sure those gradients are looking good. We'll go and change it here in a second, but usually whenever you change it, because you're going to tilt the text, then the gradient will tilt as well. So, and also for this, I guess, because the drop shadow shifted a little bit, and I wanted to keep it that way, so I just had to go through and redo the this part of the drop shadow, so no big deal. But if you wanted to avoid that, you could just make it a picture. So just convert the whole thing into a smart object and then rotate it that way. But then you'd have to go through and change a whole bunch of other stuff, so just easier to do it this way, really. So like I said, with that gradient, I'm going to go through now and go and change that because it wasn't as a straight line as it should be, so of course I want to get that fixed. And now we're going to work on the back. So this is what I did here. As you can see, I initially was going to go through and adjust everything, and I just decided I will convert it into a smart object and then put it to the back, which is a lot easier to do, and then I don't have to adjust anything, as you can see. So that's all they have on the back, nothing too crazy, so wanted to just keep it like that and keep it genuine to the vehicle. So license plate time. If you guys don't know, from previous Speedarts, I have a whole Photoshop file of all, not all states, but most of the states' license plates for police. So I can just go through any time and use them. The Oregon one I have is a little outdated, so the blue is pretty light. So I went ahead and fixed that up. I referenced my Alaska plate. Because they're pretty similar, actually. The Alaska and the Oregon exempt plate is similar to the Alaska government plate for colors and everything. So just went through and made sure those were much darker, because once you get in game, the game likes to change the colors. Usually makes them a lot lighter than they are, so that's why I want to just keep that in mind. So getting both plates on, there's that. It's looking good. So here, playing with some other colors right now. The skin's pretty much done. Just going through and deleting the outline here, so I don't have to use my circles anymore. Since I'm going to change the color, I don't want to have those. So basically just selecting them and then going over the actual line and then just deleting them, and it works perfectly. So again, going to work with some different colors. I just made a transparent one so I could play with them in game. And after checking them out in game, really the silver doesn't really work. I think it's just white and black and white is really the best. So I decided to make a black one anyways, just so I could test it out. Changing all the stuff to white might need some adjusting. It's kind of a little too much, but I don't know, it works. So you'll see that in the cinematics. Let me know what you guys think. I might release these into a vehicle pack pretty soon, but hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and enjoy the cinematics.